Hey guys, welcome back to a new series I'm starting. It's on how to make a fish, but this time we'll be doing the entire workflow of a game designer. So we'll start off by a reference image into modeling, into UV and wrapping, then texturing. After it's textured, you're in two situations. You could either render it out and call that completed, or we can carry on the pipeline where we're gonna rig it, we're gonna skin it, and then you're gonna animate it, and then we can render that out. And then essentially what you can do is call that one of your portfolio pieces. So, but more importantly, it's just teaching you the entire workflow that you go through as a designer. So far, we've gone through all the basics, and now you should be a bit competent in like a level of Maya. So as you can see, I did a quick little test of making a fish, and we're going to be using a few more. We're going to be using a few more shortcuts to create this, and we'll go step by step. So in this case, just to show you, so this is what the fish looks like with clean topology, and then the UVs. It's got some clean UVs as you can see, and that's what we're going to do as well. Right. To start, first we need to go into the space, go into the front Z mode. Go into view, image plane, import image, and then so I'll just put this on the description. Koi carp, so you can find that in description. Let's make that there, put that here like so. Make it a bit bigger actually. Don't worry about real-time scale and stuff like that. This is just to figure the workflow. After that, if you want to scale it down to an actual size of a fish, put ScaleMan in. That's by all means you can do that. So what we can do is, if we don't want this fish getting in the way, so if you go to channel box and layer editor on the top, go to layers on the top, create layers from selected, and select that to R. So now it can't be selected anymore. So the modeling technique we're doing this time around, it's called polyplane modeling, which, remember last time I made a full spaceship with the box, with the cube. This time we'll be using a single plane, and we'll be creating the entire fish with the single plane. So to show you, first of all, we have to first get the plane. Let's scale it up a little, like so. It's a bit big. And then if you press W, go into rotation. If you hold the J key and you rotate it, you can see it's locked. It's going in a grid lock. As you can see on the rotate X, it rotates it by 15 degrees. So we want it exactly 90, like so. So that's straight. Don't put the plane behind it, put it in front of it, because we're going to be working in the front axis. So let's go back to front, like so. And now we can just skate. Before we do that, we need to go into P-plane 1 in attribute editor. Oh, sorry, polyplane 1. We want to change subdivision width and height to both 1, 1, 1, like so. And now let's just get a general rectangular shape, like so. And then we can press wireframe, and we can also press, oh no, sorry, we don't press wireframe, we want to press X-ray mode, so we can see it, and we can see like an outline of it. So X-ray mode is here, this button here, the two squares thinking with one L. If you highlight, it says X-ray. So now what we can do is, if we go back to modeling toolkit, go in edge mode, hold an edge, so the right side of the edge. If you hold if you hold shift and drag with the yellow or the x-axis, it'll extrude it. So instead of going and clicking the extrude button, we can just use this shortcut like so. And what we want to do is we want to get the basic outline for right now, just of the fish, not the fins or the tail or anything like that. So let's start. So you can see I'm just following the outline, and we don't want to do it. We don't want to do it all like that. We want to create a bit of clean topology, which we're going to clean out later. And don't worry if some of them are actually out of the fish, because afterwards we're going to go individually clean it up with the verts. But at the same time, you do want it somewhat, you do want it a level of accuracy, please. So these tutorials will be a bit longer because now we've passed the point of basics. So I'm hoping you guys are a bit more competent at what you're doing on Maya. So plus you also do need to progress a bit faster. So I'm just doing this so we can actually get to the real nitty-gritty of being a game designer. The real stuff, as you would say. So we go to the eyes and then halfway around the eyes, like so, and then let's just finish off with the mouth. Like so. Then we can go into verts, go into W, just clean them out. Shift click for multiple selections. Pull that one a bit up, pull that one a bit down. That's too high. That's fine. Okay, so as you can see, we now have a basic outline of a fish. Fantastic. So what we can do now is, if we go in edge mode, we want to add some edge loops. Oh, first things first, let's go into file save and save our work. Remember, Maya tends to crash and sometimes things just happen. So after every so often, make a folder and just call it. So I'm going to call this fish tutorial. Save as. Like so. So first, now that's done, we can, if you press shift, right click, insert edge loops, or you can go to mesh tools, insert edge loops to do that. So now we want to create some, so essentially we're creating more some squares, as these are just rectangles. So this is known as topology. So we want to create just enough, maybe one down here, like so. Okay, so now you see we have squares. Now we can start adding the actual fins and the tail. Okay, so let's start off then with the tail, back fin, whatever it's called. Okay guys, now we'll be working on the fin, so we can just select, we want to select all edges like so, and just drag them out like so. And actually what we can do is drag them, and we just want to pull these out. So let's go back into here and just pull them out, and then extrude, pull them out, extrude, pull them out, maybe lift them a little, and just finish it off like so. And then now we have edge loop, a level of edge loops to work with, which we can actually go along and just define this back fin. So as you can see, we can now pull some of these two back, because as we want to get this one here, just so we can pull this one all the way, so like here, and vice versa. We want to do these with these ones, we want to pull these back. And now let's carry on. Want to grab that here, just realign the topology like so. And now in general, to be honest, that's a good start, but as you can see, it'd be nice if I had one more edge here, so we can always go, oh, are we back on edge, shift right click, insert edge loop, let's add one more here like so. So I can, oops, so I can do that like so and pull that one out. and get my accuracy even further. So there we go, that's one fin done. Brill. Okay, so the next part we'll be doing are the fins, like so, but before I do that, I've just had a look on this side and I kind of just want to actually either drag, if I drag this out, what happens to the mesh? Okay, fantastic. Okay, so now let's actually start on one of the fins. So once again, now we can see we have topology. We can actually select on these like so. I'm going to do the top dorsal fin, I believe it's called. We can just pull it, twist it a little, like so. That's just a generic accurate representation. Then go back into face mode. We want to go in edge as we are, and then shift right click, insert edge loops. Now let's start adding a couple of edge loops. 3, 4. I'll add just in case. Okay, so what we can do is start. Oopsie. So we need to go to this. There we go, and then go into here and just start layering them in. Like so. We can add an edge loop here, but until then, actually let's do that right now. So what we can do is since we're just adding one, we can select these and go into connect, like so, connect that. Actually, but the problem is then the entire thing needs an edge loop. Okay, that's fine. So remember, if we add an edge loop here, these are all quads. However, this one's become an n-gon because it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Always have to be a quad. If the verts exceed anything over 5 and more, that's an n-gon. Okay, so let's carry on. So we'll carry on selecting all of these. You can just shift click and edge tool them. So there we go, that's a single one done. Now we can go back. Like so. And by the looks of it, we've created a bit extra. So if we go into faces from this point onwards, like so, now we have a control of that. We can actually, there we go, weld it there into there. And this one can be pushed down here, that one can be pushed here, here. Like so, like so. So obviously you could add each rivet, but in this case it's really not that important. That's gonna take far too long, and it's gonna go from medium poly to extremely high poly. We don't have the time for that. However, I do want to add one more edge loop here just for this one. Insert edge loops. Come on, there we go. And back into select mode. There we go. So that's that fin done. Yeah, brill. Nice. So now guys, what we can do is we can add a little bit more detail onto the fish. So for example, let's get the eye and the mouth. Let's start off with the eye. So we go into face, go into edge mode, and let's start first create more edge loops. So we want to create from just an eyes amount, so probably then that much for the eyes. Obviously eyes is a very important thing in like animation, so this is just a good little practice startup if you want to do anything with the eyes. I will do the mouth in a second. So now what we can do is if we go here, oh sorry, so now we can go into face mode and start, oops, selecting faces. So I'm going to select that much for the eye. We want to go in face mode whilst we select it, then we press control, shift right click, circularize components, like so. And then what we can do is just start pulling this out. So like I was going to show you, sorry, if we go to circularize components, we can make it bigger and smaller. And then there's twist, but if you want to twist it, but we just if you want to make it bigger or smaller, for example, if you made it too small, you can make it bigger. So I like my length. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move it actually a bit higher so it's reaching the eye, and then we want to use the extrude. So then press R, make it a bit smaller like so, then press G again. Now let's go into here, perspective mode, and we actually want to pull it out a little like so, and then just there we go. So we got a big eye fish, big fish eye guy. Then if I wanted to, oops, I want to select these center edges, verts, I messed one out. And now let's go into here and actually move it coordinately towards his iris, or her iris. There we go. So that's done. So the next step is the mouth. First things first, we need to add a lot more edge loops. So edge loops, oops. So let's actually start from the mouth. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll just add one here just for more topology. And now we can actually, what we can do is, if we can go into select modes, delete that face, and then an edge, we can actually, on vertices, we can start lining this stuff up. Actually, you know what we could do? We could even delete this face, actually. I believe, we can delete this face. Let's check. So this side was already done for us, and there we go. So that means we can actually even delete this face since we don't need it. And now, there we go. We have a fish with eyes and a mouth. Perfect. Let's save that. Okay guys, now we're going to make it from 2D to 3D. So, but first things first, I need to remind you that this is grey, right? As you can see, the color grey on the fish. Grey means it's the right way around, and black means it's the wrong way around. So generally the way you want to think is grey is outside and black is inside. So first things first, we need to move this picture. So if you remember, we can go into channel box, press R. Now we can select this. That's fine, we don't need that for now. Press it on the fish, like so. We want to go back into modeling toolkit, edge mode, and select all the edges, double click. So what I just did there is, if you select around the outer edge, if you double click around it, that selects all the edges on the outer edge. So then hold shift to extrude, and then with the yellow button, you can hold the yellow arrow, push outwards, so push towards the right, like so. And then press R, and with the yellow we want to push outwards, not too much but just a bit, like so. And now we're going to do this thing called duplicate special, which is mirroring. We only made half the fish because we're going to mirror the other side over. And to do this, what we want to do is you need to check, if we go into side view and find your fish, our pivot, this is known as the pivot, the WER is known as the pivot. You can, if you press the D button, as you can see, this allows you to move the pivot. So you want it essentially bang on in the middle. You want this blue line aligning with this orange line. So that's the way to do it. So once you're finished, press D again, go back into the main view. Now we're like that. So we can go to edit, duplicate special. So I'm going to reset mine. First, what we want to do, we want to change geometry type to instance. And then here are the scales, X, Y, and Z. So we always want to change the scale. So in this case, I believe if we press, so it's currently on 1. If you flip it, if you apply it on 1, it will come to our side, but we want it on the opposite side. So if we press -1 on Z and press apply, oh God's sake, we're still on edge mode. There we go. Okay, so now let's double check. D. There we go, like so. And then if I press edit, duplicate special, duplicate. Okay, so as you can see, what that's done is it's flipped it on the opposite side. So that's the wrong one. We can do duplicate special, but then change it to, oh, was it y-axis actually? I believe it was. There we go. Perfect. And that is our fish. Well, yeah, that is our fish. So we can close that out. So first things first, what we want to do is select the main one. We'll select both of them. Excuse me. And we want to combine them. So here, mesh, combine. So now they're both green. But that's not finished yet. We need to go back into side view, like so. Go into verts. And then from the middle, what we want to do is select every single vert from the middle. Like so. Just double check it's done. Yeah. And then merge. Merge. And then so 256, the poly count should drop. We don't want it too much. Okay, there, 128. Perfect. And we haven't had any distortion. Brilliant. So that's the next step. So that's how we merge and duplicate special in Maya. Okay guys, so now we want to create the bottom fin. So if we have a look here, it's clearly not going to be enough polygons. So let's shift right click, insert edge loop tool, and create one here. And then go back to that. And then we can select multiple like so. We can't see it, so we need to go to back to X-ray mode. So pull that along. Even then, we won't be able to move it about, so we need to add more in here. So shift right click, insert edge loops, and let's add, I don't know, maybe 4. Well, 3 or 4 should be right. We'll see how it goes, and then we can always add more afterwards. There's no point making excessive amounts and then not using it all. It really doesn't do too well. And actually, before I forget, let's add one more edge loop here. So another method, since we're just adding one, is if we just go and select all of these and then just connect it like so. And then if we go here, so first things first, now that we have that one created, now I can drag that along. There we go. And then we can, as you can see, it looks perfectly fine, but I want to kind of move these along now, just to straighten it out. Yeah, that's fine. And now let's do that with the others, the other 2 fins. So once again, I want to select, in this case I'll select these 3. Just pull them down, twist it a little, and then add edge loops, insert edge loop tool. So we got 1, 2, 3, probably 4 this time. And then now we can do the start working on the shape. Oops, create an edge loop by accident, select tool. So always remember to press the select tool. You don't accidentally want to create more edge loops for no reason. What we can do is we can pull these here, like so, just so I can pull these ones more back. There we go. Same with these. Pull these back like so. And with this one we can, let me see. Let's bring that back up here. And then if we delete that one actually, let me see, actually what we can do is go into edge mode, select, since we're only selecting these four, connect to that, enter, and then we can actually just delete that one actually. There we go. There we go. That's much better. Because it gives, we're following this reference image, so we want to keep the tail fin, sorry, like so. Okay, and then finally we have the last fin. So once again, edge, we can select this one as well, since this part here, it starts from here, so we can go 1, 2, 3. 3 should be enough in this case, since they're the big ones. Like so. Start adding edge loops, inside edge loops. So there's no specific number. The less you use, obviously, is the better. But you just want to average. But a good way to start is less. Less is more. You can always add them on afterwards, and delete unnecessary ones. Pull that out, so we can pull this in. Pull that one out, so we can pull these ones in. And now we can actually pull this back out, like so. Like so. And now perfect, we can just start putting these, gridding these along. And now, as you can see, this is too much of a poly gap. So, yeah, let's just connect. There we go. And then we go back into verts, into here. Now we have an extra vert to work with. We can now just, there we go, clean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's actually created an n-gon. That's not good. So we can select these two. And then if we go into edit mesh, and no, actually select them two, and if we just press connect, yeah, creates a poly. That's fine. That's workable. Cool. So but it's also created a triangle at the same time. That's interesting. Don't remember if it originally was like that, but it looks better now. Okay, so here is the basic outline of our fish. So file, save as, and then now we'll actually start making it 3D, because if you have a look at it, it's 2D. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, as you can see, our fish is all the same length, but if you've ever seen a fish issue, you would know the fins and the tail are very, very thin. So what we first need to do, we're going to go through all of them. So I currently have face selected. I'm going to select most of the fin, like so, both sides selected. Then R, and then I'm just going to tweak it. So I'm just going to thin it out. Not too much, we don't want it like a paper, but we want to give a level of depth as well. And we want to do the same thing with these as well. So you need to remember, if you I've selected all of that fin, but at the same time all of these are selected. So if you hold shift, see, this is an orange shade and this is a gray shade. We need to get rid of all the excess orange on both sides. If you double select it, you'd think that it'd stop it, but it doesn't. So, and again on this side, we want everything on the fin. We don't want any of the fish getting thinned by accident, like so. And then we can just go here and just thin that out too, like so. If you want, you could even make it bigger, but we're not going to. And let's do that with all of, we want to have these 3 fins exactly the same. So this part can be a bit difficult, going inside and finding it, like so. And let's do that again. Oh, get rid of him. So all of that selected. So let's just double check if anything excess. Okay, so we don't want these to get selected. I believe. Yeah, that's fine. And then finally, there we go. So let's just double check. Everything that's not thin is unselected. Okay, fantastic. So what we can do is, once again, R, just thin it out like so. And then what we can do is, sometimes I particularly don't like it when edges are too close to each other. So I'm just going to move them out like so. There we go. That's better. So now what happens is, if you take that out, it just looks so much cleaner. You can see these black edges. That's just because we just sharpened it out. I think that's probably more of a bug than anything, because there is still geometry. Actually, I remember what that was. So if we go into edge mode first, select all the outer ones as we were doing, and then press R, and just pull. We just want to pull up slightly. So yeah, we just want to, with the blue, we want to pull everything up. Not like that, obviously. Just slightly. There we go. So what I believe the reason it's doing this is because it has polygons inside. So to check that, it can be done on wireframe. Yeah, so all we have to do is the ones that are stuck inside, like so. If it hasn't, you're okay, like so. And then we can go back into rendered mode. There we go. And now it shouldn't. Oh, I brought that out too high. So I think you'll remember in game design is you'll eventually just have to keep tweaking back on the little stuff. Okay. So that's our fish. We're done with the fish itself. Oh, it seems we are not just yet. Let's go zoom in into wireframe. I think it's this one. And then take it out of wireframe. I think that's done it. Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, that's our fish. No matter what you do, you'll always probably find little issues. But so you can just test it out by smoothing it. And there we go. You've made a fish just like I have. And that so now that looks, I mean, obviously that's far too many polygons for a fish. Even like for a main character, if this was the main character of a fish, that's extremely overkill. But it's if it's a portfolio piece, you know, it's fine. So let's just save that out, and now we'll start on UVing. Cool.